Hello. I see I have a viewer now. So if you're curious what I'm doing, I'm at work right now. I work at Hot Toys. January is the month where we're just kind of filling up a bunch of different cells that we use. So like this one. This is for a lot of like annuals, vegetable starts, that kind of stuff. So we fill them up in January. We start getting plants in February, although these won't be filled up for a little while. So yeah, just filling these up, just working on this right now. I just figured I'd share with you guys what I'm doing. If you guys have any questions too, feel free to put them in the comments and I can answer any questions that you have. I'm actually going to start moving these. I'm going to move the camera over. So over here is where I'm going to be filling them. There's large things of soil here. So I just fill up that one thing. And then I can show you what that process is like as well. So I just got these cells, move them in like this, and then I just put to get gloves. Yeah, it's kind of a messy job, so I like to wear gloves, at least when I'm filling with potting soil. I know you can't really see the soil, but it's right here behind me. But let's see if I can move this over a little bit. Maybe you can see a little bit more. There we go. So I just fill these up, and then I'll pack them down once I finish these 4 cells. And then all of these actually go on a pallet that's over in this direction. We stack all these up because we're not ready to use them right now. So we just stack them up for now. We put a cover on them, keep them outside, and then whenever we're ready to actually use these cells, that's when we will, we'll bring them into the greenhouse and then we'll start actually planting these up. So like I said, this will be a lot of like vegetable starts, like cucumbers, tomatoes, peppers, eggplant, lots of stuff like that. We order in a ton of seeds. We plant them all probably around April into May, and then maybe a little bit into June we do all that planting, and then people will buy those starts for the vegetable garden. So now that I've got this filled, I use this little like camper, and then I just kind of pack all the soil in. I have made a couple shorts on this if you want to see the process a little bit quicker. This is obviously in live speed, and then I just kind of brush off the rest that's here, just like this. But it's maybe not the best day weather-wise. Well, the rain just sounded like it calmed down a little bit. It's gonna rain all day here. It's kind of a nice sound in the greenhouse. I'm in just like a poly greenhouse, so you definitely hear the rain pretty well. But this is what my job is in January. I might walk away from the screen a couple different times, just because I can't show everything that I'm doing, like in this whole area, but basically what I do is I sell these. That's what it's kind of called when you put the cells in the trees. I kind of do that at once, and then I do a whole bunch of filling at once, and then I just stack them onto pallets. And actually I can show you what that pallet looks like. So this is one that I've started. I do them in stacks of 4. And then we do 5 stacks high. So it's 20 high in the end. And it goes 1, 2 sideways, 1, 2, 3, 4 the other way, and then 1, 2 on the end. And then I just crisscross it and do the opposite that way. So that's pretty much it. It's probably not the most interesting thing, so don't feel like you have to stick around. But I just figured I would kind of go live to show people what I'm doing at work. And then if they have any questions, I'll kind of hear live if they want to ask me anything. It doesn't have to necessarily be about what I'm doing, but just any gardening questions, anything like that. Probably should have titled this something different, like, you know, kind of chat with me while I work or something, but whatever. If any of you guys are new, I have a YouTube channel. It's called Joshua's Garden. I just kind of show things that I do that are related to gardening, things that I've learned. I actually am in school right now for horticulture. I'm going to the University of Rhode Island for plant sciences. So learning a lot about this, but I've always been interested in it. And I love sharing what I learn kind of with the internet and with the world. I'm not super big into like taking photos and everything, but I do kind of like videography. I like taking videos of things and editing it together and kind of like making some sort of a project out of it. But I have been making a lot of shorter videos too, like Instagram Reels, TikTok, YouTube stuff. So, but I haven't gone live. Maybe once. I went live once when we had a snowstorm. I like kind of showed what the snowstorm looked like when we had it here. But I haven't really done anything else besides that. So I just figured I'd pop on. And I know this seems like it's kind of boring. I don't work like from the morning to the evening doing this. Right now I'm only working kind of like half days. So I came in at 8:30 and then I'll leave at 2. And I take like a couple short breaks in between just to have a couple snacks. But nothing crazy besides that. Another one done. Sometimes I do have. Hello. I'm just kind of showing what I'm doing at work. I'm filling up these containers right now. These are called 1004 cells. I work at a garden center, so. looks like I'm gonna have to shovel some more soil on here soon because I'm actually running out. So I'll finish these trays, and then I have like a big snow shovel that I can use to grab all this soil because it's pretty light. It's not too heavy since it's dry. And I'm just gonna fill up this potting bench. Alright, let's move this camera, and then you guys can actually see what it is that I'm doing. So, I'm gonna move it, I think I'm gonna do this actually. Oops. So I have all this soil here. You are busy so early. What's the time now? I think it is... Yeah, it's only 9:17 right now. Hi, I'm in here. I'm gonna fill up this thing. It's only like 9:17. I got here at 8:30, so I'll be here till 2. Sorry, I'm like trying to reach over the potting bench now. Alright, the soil is actually a little heavy because it's running wet. soil is quite heavy and wet, actually. Okay. So I'm gonna move this back over here. Oops. Just tripped over something. All right, hopefully you guys can see that pretty well, what I'll be doing. Perfect. Actually, I have a better idea. So that way, hopefully you can kind of see what's going on behind me as well, where I'm grabbing all this stuff from. Maybe I can do it like this. This is kind of like a trial run for me, just kind of figuring out going live and that kind of stuff, just to kind of see if it's something that I enjoy doing or not. I like it so far. I think it's pretty cool. Yeah, that works pretty well. It's hard because I'm not doing the same thing like in the same spot all day. I'm kind of moving throughout this area of the greenhouse, but it works. Something that I do, I guess, to clean up this space is I can use this paddle, just kind of brush it along. Alright, question for those of you watching. Would you rather me explain what I'm doing or just kind of like shut up and do it? Because I'm fine with not speaking it either. Because this can kind of be like an ASMR video too. Oh, looks like Denise is here.
It never worked out.
That's fine.
I gotta go with my wife to sign some stuff. Boy, that one could stay there. I took one out. If that one gets filled, we could put a pallet in front of that one, which would still be inside. I was gonna say, if you wanna shut this door and get the chill out, Josh, I've never been down there. Yeah. But I eventually want to get another soil in here, but that soil's okay for you to reach the bench and whatever, where it is?
That's alright, because I can still put a bench further.
It might be after lunch, but I know you usually work till 2, so by the time it gets done, you'll be like, oh, I'm kind of leaving in another half hour. But I just figured I'll let you know what's going on.
Yeah, that's fine. Anybody still here? Yeah, it's funny. Those were my bosses. I guess they got to get going somewhere, but he was gonna bring me some more soil, but I'm fine for now. I have plenty of soil here. So yeah, just filling these up. I try to get 2 pallets done a day, which is 160 of these trays per pallet. So sorry if I keep kind of like poking in like that. I'm just trying to see what the camera looks like. But yeah, I try to get like 1.5 to 2 pallets done a day. We gotta do 12 of these pallets in total. There's actually 6,400 of these little cells per pallet. So you can imagine just how many plants that really is. I don't know the math off the top of my head, but if you multiply 6,400 by 12, that's how many of these cells I will be filling in total. And to my knowledge, I'm filling them all myself. So sometimes I do have somebody that helps me sell these, meaning like he'll set up the actual trays and the cells themselves. All I have to do is actually fill them with the soil. But sometimes, like today, at least for right now, it's just me doing all of it, which totally fine by. Thankfully, I'm not in too big of a rush because it's only January. But the sooner I can get this done, the better. So, just filling these up. I did some other pots too. They were 4.5-inch containers, which what we sell at the garden center in those 4.5 containers are mostly annuals, and we do individual annuals. They come in as little plugs, and then those we can grow on for maybe like a month or 2, and then people will buy those annuals by themselves. of what other stuff we fill up. So these are called 1004 cells. There's a name for the 4.5-inch containers, and I can't remember exactly what it is. But there's those as well. Those are a bit faster to do. Those don't take as long, but they take more soil, so I have to keep shoveling soil more often, and that's probably the hardest part of this, like the most like backbreaking work, if you want to call it that, just because you know, especially in the soil, you can see it's like darker like this. This is a little wet, but totally fine, because these will have time to dry out before we have to put anything in them. This soil though, you know, when you shovel it, especially with like a snow shovel, it definitely can be heavy and puts a lot of strain on your shoulders and your back. So I've gotten a little sore from it, but because I do it every day, it just kind of goes away after a while and I build up my muscle. So I do really like that about working in a garden center, that I can, you know, I have a physical job and I don't always go to the gym, but if I don't, at least I'm still doing something physical. Just tapping these in. If you guys have any questions at all while I'm doing this, feel free to put it in the comments. I can totally answer for you, whether it's in relation to what we're doing now or anything gardening related. Even if you guys just saw this weird video on YouTube and you're like, who the heck is this? You know, what's he doing? I don't know. I'm totally open to anything. Just wanted to throw that out there. Alright, got another one done. Once I get through all these cells too, I can show you what it is like when I sell. And I was going to say too, so the person that usually helps me, when he's not here helping me, he's actually going on deliveries, because our garden center, we're located in Rhode Island, if you don't know. And if you don't know about Rhode Island, that's in the United States. So hopefully that gives you some sort of reference. But we also do wood stove pellets. So a lot of people, especially around here, it seems like a lot of people use, I shouldn't say wood stove pellets, but pellet stoves. And it's basically an alternative to a wood stove, where instead of getting wood and having to chop it up yourself, you can get pellets, which is basically like compressed wood chips and stuff like that. And it's so much easier because it goes in bags, and then you just open a bag, put it in the hopper, and then the stove kind of does the rest. It'll burn it for you, and then it gives you heat. So it's a good source of heat. It's technically carbon neutral. I mean, it still releases carbon, but it's not like a fossil fuel, like oil or natural gas or stuff like that. So I think there's like some tax benefits to it and that kind of stuff as well. But we carry pellets here. And in the wintertime, a lot of these greenhouses, except for this one pretty much, are filled with pellets. So well, I haven't done it myself because I don't like driving big trucks like that. But they'll make deliveries and they deliver it to people's houses. And then they come up on these big pallets that are shrink wrapped. And then whoever has those pellets, they can like bring them inside and then just have, I think people go through like a bag a day or something like that. I feel like that's pretty typical. So that's a big thing that we do in the wintertime here as well. But yeah, most of it in the wintertime is, there's a couple people I work with that are inside the store. They're taking time to clean stuff because it gets so dusty in the summertime. And then there's people like me that are filling. I will say, I forgot to mention this before. So I was talking about what other things we fill. There's these 1004 cells, the 4.5-inch containers, and then another thing that we do is, if you've ever heard of Proven Winners before, I love Proven Winners. They're a really awesome company. How many people down here? Oh yeah, we got 3 people. Awesome. Yeah, I love Proven Winners as a company, and one thing they do require, and I totally get this as a marketing thing, people are required to, like garden centers are required to use their pots. They have like a white pot and it says PW on it. It's very distinct. You'll kind of see it from anywhere. And when we grow their annuals, like a lot of people buy their like petunias or a ton of other annuals, they have to go in those containers. So we'll be filling those at some point too. But we don't grow a ton of Proven Winners stuff. We have other annuals as well that we do grow, so it's only part of it. And we have to do those at some point. And then the other really big one is hanging baskets. So you can kind of see like these metal poles above me. Some of them are just for the greenhouse. The ones that are going this way, the ones that are going this way are for the hanging baskets. We'll hang them all throughout the greenhouses, and that's kind of the biggest like seller of the spring. Most people, especially people that don't really care for plants all that much, but they just want the front of their house to look pretty, they'll get a hanging basket because they're not too expensive, and all the work is pretty much done for you. It's pretty much just watering them consistently, fertilizing like once a week, and then if you have any insect issues, just taking care of that. And then some things like petunias and some other plants that get really big, you do have to prune those like once or twice throughout the growing season, just because they get so large. So, but after I'm done with all of these, then I will be moving on to hanging baskets. Looks like we have another one done, and I gotta get some water because my throat's already feeling dry from talking. I have one more row to do, like the stacks of 4, for that pallet, and then once I'm done with that, then I can just throw a cover on it, and then I'll be done. I'm gonna go behind the camera, grab my water, and I'll be back. I try to go through one of these like once a day, but I haven't always been successful with that. Alright, I think right now I'm gonna take a little break from talking, just kind of keep working, so feel free to stick around if you want to see what I'm doing. If not, I hope you guys like my little spiel on what's going on here. But if you guys do have any questions that pop up, just let me know. I will mention too, if the person that does usually help me does happen to come in here, I think I might stop the live at that point just because I don't know exactly how he feels. I don't want to like force him to be in a live or something like that. So I'll probably just end it at that point. But for now, I think if he doesn't come in within the next like 25 minutes or so, I'll go on till 10, and then that'll be it. You know, just in case, I think I'm actually going to bring you over to where I sell, and I can show you where that happens, and kind of what that process is like with this. So, just on the other side over here. Just get a minute to set up this camera. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Thankfully, I can take my gloves off for this, which is nice. But we've got these trays here. So I've just got like a stacker in here. And then, I don't think I have any left. But these are the cells. They're all stuck together, which is nice. But I have like a pile that I can pick them up from. And then I just kind of make a long row of them. And then I just stack them, like usually 4 high, because I do 4 at a time. Sometimes I'll do 8 high, so I think I'm actually going to do them 8 high here. Grab some more trays actually. The trays come in this big white container, and then I can just take all this off. Take the cardboard off. I've got like trash and cardboard over here too that I can get rid of. You gotta be really careful with these though, because if you compact them too much together, then they're hard to pull apart. And that's kind of the last thing you want to do with these. Actually, I'm gonna flip this over. Just gonna be very gentle. Try not to press them together. That's about it. And I will actually kind of separate this in half. Just makes it a little less water. So that was one row that I did, and then I can just take these, stack them on top of each other, and then that's it. Actually don't have too many more of these new ones left. You can see all these piles in the background. That stuff is, they're old trees that we keep from last year. These are brand new ones. You can kind of see that these are like a dark black. So these are nice. They're really fun to work with because older plastic can be harder. But we usually keep all the good ones, go through the ones that are kind of cracked, and then just try to use as many old ones as we can. But we use up the new ones first because we might as well just use them if we do have them. Here. Actually, that's it for now. Put a tray on top of the pile that I need. So those of you that are watching, if you do happen to kind of watch gardening content or are interested in gardening, are there any other gardening YouTubers or people that you follow on Instagram or anything like that that you follow that you really enjoy? I mean, I can talk about all the people that I enjoy listening to. Actually, I will say, if nobody does have anybody that they do watch, something I've been listening to lately that I love is, I've talked about Proven Winners before. They have a podcast called Gardening Simplified, and I actually, while I've been working the last number of days, I have been listening to podcasts. I'll bring my speaker with me, and I've been listening to the podcast. I also have to say, unfortunately, I caught up with it, but I did end up listening to all the episodes that they have released so far. But it's a really good podcast. I love listening to it. I've learned so much information, and I think my favorite thing from that podcast that I have learned a lot about is Proven Winners will take certain breeds of plants, or they will breed their own plants, and find kind of genetic mutations that make the plants more desirable, and they then they add them to their line. So like an example would be like the limelight hydrangea. That's like the most common plant from them. There's other panicle hydrangeas, but that one kind of stands out for a lot of the genetics that it has. And what they do is they do something called Plant on Trial every week, and they talk about one of the plants that's in their line, especially one that like looks really desirable at a certain time. And they talk about like where it came from. You know, like if there was like somebody found it in the wild, or somebody was plant breeding, and then this was some sort of like a genetic mutation, and they talk about like the person who found it too. It's really cool. Something I would definitely be interested in for the future. After I'm out of college, maybe I would want to get into plant breeding. I'm not too sure, but it does sound pretty cool. But definitely check out that podcast if you're interested in that kind of stuff. They're not too long of episodes, like maybe 30 or 40 minutes. So I love it. So right now this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I'm gonna do 2 more rows, and then I can grab them in groups of 4. Hopefully I have enough trays to do that. Oh, there's one short from that group. I just realized I want to make sure that I haven't missed anything because I don't know if any things come up in the chat. Just making sure. Oh, there's 6 people here now. Awesome. Oh, I didn't even realize there was people responding. I'm sorry. It didn't pop up on my phone before. Tropical gardening videos normally, but somehow got on your channel already months ago. Oh, awesome. Yeah, because I do have some videos on like the Musa Baju hardy banana plant. That's been pretty popular for my channel. Those bananas I love so much. They didn't grow a whole lot this year. They weren't the absolute best, but I do really enjoy growing those, and they've done pretty well for me. Last year they stayed on the smaller side, which was fine. But I think this year I really tried to like, I'm trying to think of what the word is, like keep them warm over the winter. So hopefully they will grow back a little bit better this year. They won't die like all the way to the ground. But definitely looking forward to that. Usually around like maybe April or May is when I start to unravel them. But I put like a whole wire thing around them this fall. So I think they'll stay pretty warm there. And then I'm also only gonna have 1 leader, just 1 stem on the top. Hopefully that'll help them stay warm. Alright, I just have 1 more. So I'm gonna bring you guys back over here. See if I can get the best kind of view of everything. And I'm just gonna keep filling these up. Yeah, perfect. Another sip of water. I don't know if I'm just like missing the chat sometimes, but I just want to make sure that I don't miss anything. Cool. Okay. I'll get my gloves on. Oh, here's one second. Yeah, I was thinking in the future of doing something like maybe repotting plants and having like a Q&A or something like that. So it's maybe a little bit more interesting than what I'm doing right now. I know this isn't the most interesting thing. But honestly, this just helps my day go by a little bit faster too. I'll listen to music, I'll listen to podcasts, listen to the planes go by. But a lot of times I'm kind of just down here by myself, so maybe I will go live more often. Yeah, I'm trying to think of tropical gardening YouTubers that I watched. I can't remember all of their names. I can tell you for sure, there's a YouTube channel called Emojis, and that's, I think, really how I originally found out about this banana plant. And what's really awesome is Logi's is only a little bit more than a half an hour away from my house. I didn't realize it was in Connecticut, and I'm in Rhode Island. So I first found them on YouTube thinking, oh, this place could be anywhere. Then I realized they were in Connecticut, and they sell those plants there too, which is awesome. Logi's is a really, really cool place. So I definitely love the stuff that they have there. Lots of rare, tropical, exotic plants. Not much stuff that's hardy, although they do have some hardy camellias that I would love to get. I'm going to be making a tropical bed at my mom's house. We're going to be adding hopefully some yucca. I really want to see if I can get a hold of a needle palm, because it's the only type of palm tree that's survivable in our area. So hopefully I can get that. Logi's doesn't carry that. But they have the musabaju and then the camellias as well. I definitely want to see if I can plant those camellias. Now, I will mention about the camellias, something that I was thinking about, and I actually talked to somebody at Logi's, is they have them now. I mean, it's only January, but they do have them now. But I was thinking about getting them and keeping them inside, like kind of as a house plant for the winter, because they're very small. And from my understanding, camellias do grow pretty slowly. I was thinking like maybe I could get them now before they, like while they're still small. Hopefully they could, I mean, they probably won't grow much over the winter, but you know, just to get them like before anybody else buys them. And then I can plant them out in the spring, and hopefully they can survive throughout the winter. I mean, it says they're hardy to zone 6. We're in a zone 6, and honestly, the way that the weather's been going, and with climate change in our area, so zone 6 means that we get into the negatives. And if any of you are watching that are not from the US, I don't know exactly what that correlates to, but at least 32 degrees is freezing, and then you have to go 32 degrees down from there in Fahrenheit to get to 0. So it's, you know, 0 is quite a bit colder than when you get to freezing. And zone 6 is the coldest temperatures that you'd see are 0 to -10. It has gotten into the negatives here before, but to be honest, most of the time that's happened when I was younger. I'm 19 now, so it's not like I've been around forever, but in the last like 5 to 10 years, there's only been like a few times it's actually gotten into the negatives. So I would argue that I live in almost a zone 7 at this point. Like almost every winter lately has been at least like a zone 7. Now it might be more like a 7A rather than a 7B, but nonetheless, it still is. And actually, if you look at like the USDA growing zones and you look at a map of, it's actually Connecticut and Rhode Island, they pair them together. The coast along both of those states actually is a zone 7A. So it really doesn't get into the negatives there, and it's not really getting into the negatives in any part of Rhode Island that much anymore. I will say that we still are zone 6 because it still can get into the negatives, and I'm sure at some point it will. But like this winter, the coldest temperature we've seen is like 11 degrees. It's like that's literally a zone 8, which is kind of crazy. And most of the days in the winter so far here, like we're getting into what's supposed to be the coldest couple of weeks of the year, and it's today's a bit of an exception. It's like 55 degrees of rain today, but that's because we're getting a storm, and the storm brings warm air with it. I actually did go to school for atmospheric sciences last year, so I know a whole lot about this. But anyways, it's warmer than it usually is, but even then, like the average temperature this winter has honestly been in like the 40s, and a lot of days still in the 50s. We haven't really seen like any whole day that stayed below freezing, which is normally quite common. And we've barely seen the teens. I mean, at night, sometimes it gets into, I would say most nights it gets into the 30s. Some nights it gets into the 20s. Sometimes it's colder, 20s, like 22, 23, but like almost never the teens, which is, I don't know, it's kind of crazy to me. Like, looking on that, I'm kind of thinking, like, what's going to happen in the future? Like, our winters have been so mild and so moderate. When I was younger, we used to get snow all the time. Like, we used to get these big winter storms, and maybe that didn't happen a lot. Like, maybe it was like a couple times a season. But I remember, like, every single winter we would get at least a foot of snow in a storm. And like every couple or every few years, we would get like 15, 16, 18 inches. And then there's once or twice that we actually got 2 feet in a storm. Now every time we get a storm, it's mostly or just all rain. Yesterday it rained, today it's raining. I think there's like one day in the forecast we might get snow, but we've had one day of snow this whole winter, and we're already halfway through January, which is honestly quite crazy. Like really thinking about that. I like talking about the weather just as much as I like talking about plants, just because it was something that I went to school for last year, so I had a lot of fun with it. Well, I just wanted to say thank you guys for sticking around. I mean, I know there's been a lot of people that have kind of popped in and out, which I'm sure I would have done the same thing if I saw this video. But for those of you that have kind of stuck around for a little while, I appreciate that. This has kind of just been like a trial run for me to see if I want to go live, just to see if it's kind of like a format that I like. Usually I don't like live stuff because I'm afraid I'm gonna like say something or can't get my words out. When I'm recording and I have like the camera in front of me and I'm making YouTube videos, it's nice because I can just edit stuff out if I like, if I don't like what I said or if I want to redo it. And I almost have like PTSD when I was in school because I used to do theater all the time when I was younger, and it made me so nervous to get up on stage and do stuff live and not like forget my lines or anything like that, which, I mean, it's not like I'm doing that same thing here, but it's a similar premise, I guess. But I like this so far. Maybe I'll have to like set something up and I can kind of talk about one particular thing on the live and see how that goes. But yeah, I'll stay on here for another few minutes until about 10 o'clock or so, and then after that, I mean, I'm gonna be here all day till 2 o'clock. So, but I brought some stuff with me. I have a yogurt that I can eat. I have a banana. I have a granola bar. Oh, lately I've been having peanut butter filled pretzels. Oh my god, those have been so good. Yeah, I just recently went to New Hampshire on a little weekend trip, and we were picking out snacks to get just to like have on the road and whatever, like in between meals. And so we picked out peanut butter pretzels, which I hadn't seen or thought about in such a long time. And so when we got them, I was like, oh my god, these are so good. I forgot how good these are. And so we ended up buying more of them at the grocery store when we got back. And I've been having them every single day. So I think I need to like take a break after this week, but it's fun to have stuff like that. And it's nice working till 2 o'clock because I just have like a few snacks like that just to keep me from getting too hungry. And then I can go home and have like a nice lunch, so it's not like I have to like sit and eat lunch in the greenhouse when I'm working after this. This is kind of my time off, if you will say, than any other time of the year, because my classes start again January 23rd. So it's a week from Monday, so I have like another week to week and a half left before I go back to school. But I have generally like a month off in between the fall semester and the spring semester. And I still want to work because I want to make some money and still have something to do. But I'm only working like 3 or 4 days a week, and they're not super long days. 8:30 to 2 is really not that bad. Thankfully, where I do work, they are so flexible because it's more just like this needs to get done. It doesn't really matter when it gets done, just as long as it is done. So if I want to stay late one day, or if they just want to work a little bit one day, like they don't really care, We're actually closed right now. The garden center is only open by appointment for people to pick up their pellets if they're not getting them delivered. Because a lot of people, they'll actually like bring an SUV and they'll get like a half a ton of pellets, which I think there's 50 bags usually per ton. So they'll pick up 25 bags, and then whenever they need another 25, then they'll do that. Whatever ends up working for them. So yeah, so they'll do that. And then they just can call and say, hey, I'd like to pick up some pellets. And then we kind of just ask like, oh, when's a good time for you? And we'll come and pick them up. Besides that, you know, they do deliveries. But at least around here, there's really nothing that you really need to buy like from here right now. There's not anything, we don't have any plants or anything. We're just kind of preparing, and like I said, they're cleaning the store. And we don't really sell house plants here. That's like kind of the one thing I wish that we did have. That would be fun to have the greenhouse filled with house plants in the winter. Maybe at some point we'll start carrying house plants, but I think it's a smaller company. You know, they already do so much, especially with pellets. So I think it would be a lot to add house plants. Plus, you have to heat the greenhouse too. So, you know, like probably I would assume the profit from house plants would have to, you know, at least break even with the labor that goes into it. And I don't know. I haven't really. I'm just an employee. I'm not like a manager or anything here, so it's not like I really think about that kind of stuff. But I think it would be a lot to add house plants. But that would be fun for the future, for sure. So, but yeah. But we'll open again at some point in March. Kind of depends on how the weather goes. From my understanding, because I haven't worked here in March yet, because last year I was up at school in Vermont. But if the weather's really nice and it stays pretty mild, we'll open towards the beginning of March. If it's crazy and really rainy and wet and cold or snowy, then we might open up a little bit later in March. So it kind of just depends on the weather. But at least for January and February, it's mostly filling. And then I did work a week in February last year, which if you want to see what that process is like, I actually did make a YouTube video. You can go onto my channel, and if you search, like, I worked at a garden center for a week, then that video should pop up, just in case you want to see it. A lot of it was similar to this, actually, but I did start planting as well, which was really cool. We started planting a lot of annuals. There was little plugs that came in. I think a lot of it was a lot of different things, actually. It was like begonias, calibrachoa, petunias. I don't know what else it was. So many different things. Oh my god. And then we got a lot of dracaenas in, actually, which is crazy. So, anyways, 9:59. All right, I'll stay on for a couple of seconds. I don't want to cut your time short. But, anyways, I hope you guys like this. For those of you that stuck around, it was fun for me. It's kind of fun talking about what I do and what's going on. But, anyways, yeah, alright, I think I'm gonna end this now. So, yeah, like I said, I mean, if you guys, I think probably the two of you that are on have probably checked out my channel before. But, yeah, maybe I'll keep doing this in the future. Alright, besides that, I hope you guys liked this live. I think I can just hit the X. I'm going to try to end it. We'll see. But I will see you guys soon. Alright, let's see if I can end this.